Welcome, everyone. Courage to Caregivers. This is our first meeting in the month of January 2022. And our theme for this month is Dream Big. I love those words, and I love those words together, dream big. Our topic for tonight is personal timeline. So happy New Year, everyone. Here we are at the beginning of a new journey. We're looking at a blank page, a blank canvas, just right in front of us. New possibilities, new energy, new focus, and new hope. And you get to take your own personal paintbrush and fill in that canvas with whatever you choose. You get to decide what you are about to create as you stand at the very beginning of this new year. So in breathing meditation, we typically focus on the present moment, the here and now. This has been our focus for, as long as we've been together. But today we're going to be engaging our witness mind, our observing mind, to reflect back on our life, particularly on our life stories, our personal timeline. We all have a unique story. And when we reflect on our own personal timeline, we use this as a tool for recognizing our strengths and our resiliences, as well as our shortcomings. So we spent some time last month looking over the past year. And so the year of 2021 has been quite a tumultuous year, very much like the year before it, 2020. We've been in this kind of holding pattern. And when I say holding pattern, we had lockdowns, then we had a little freedom, and then things tightened up again. There's a lot of shifting sands that we've been standing on. And as that occurs, it kind of creates a little bit of difficulty. But we also focused on strength and resilience that we built from challenges that arose over the year. So now we look back on the timeline of your life, from your very beginning to where you are now. And you can observe your story without judgment and then reframe it. See, that's always within our power, is to reframe that story. When we do that, we can witness how creative we have been at surviving some of our greatest challenges. And often when we do that, we see that we are doing much better than we thought, but we have to take the time to look back. When we do look back, we realize that looking forward are new possibilities. And then we can plan and invite the concept in of dreaming big as we look ahead. Dreaming big, what does that look like? Maybe it's accepting new challenges. Maybe it's trying new things. Maybe it's embracing change. Change has become a big part of our lives over the last 2 years. So maybe instead of looking at those challenges as something negative, embrace those changes, embrace those challenges, and create something positive out of them. Maybe it's imagining the impossible and relying on our past experiences to shape our dreams for the future. There's so much ahead of us. I love the beginning of a new year because it's a little bit scary, it's a little bit exhilarating, it's a little bit exciting. But, as I said, you get to create every step of the way what it's going to be. So having said that, let's do a little bit of breathing, a little bit of meditation to calm our spirits as we enter this new year. I invite you to find a comfortable place on your chair, perhaps shifting your weight from side to side, making sure that you're nice and even in your chair. Feeling your feet on the floor. Resting firmly on the floor, the feet are the foundation. Feeling your seat on your chair, nice and connected, nice and grounded. And then as always, appreciating and finding that space above, the universe, the infinite, and all the possibilities that are within that. And then finding a tall spine, so nice tall back, maybe rolling those shoulders up to the ears once or twice, letting them softly settle down, loosening up any tension that may be present there. And then as always, I invite you to close the eyes or leave them softly downcast in front of you. And then begin to connect with the breath as it moves in and out of the nose, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Just noticing the natural flow of the breath as it comes and as it goes. Good. And what do you notice about your breath right now? Maybe invite in a little curiosity. Is the breath warm? Is it cool? Just notice what that feels like upon entering through the nose. And then as it exits, does it change? Does the temperature of the breath change? And then noticing the temperature of the air around you. Little subtleties. Is the air warm? Is it cooler? Is the air moving or is it still? Whenever we notice these little subtleties, that is when we hone our awareness skill. Awareness is so important in a breathing and meditation practice. And then notice as you take the breath in, notice if there's any expansion as your lungs fill up with breath, as your chest rises, your ribs rise, and your belly expands. So really feel into that expansion. What does that feel like? And then as you exhale and let the air go, what does that contraction feel like? As your belly contracts toward the spine, your ribs fall back into place, and your chest also falls. What does that feel like in the body? That expansion and that contraction. Just take a moment to just notice that. Good. And as you breathe, what does the pace of your breath feel like? Are you breathing fast? Are you breathing slowly? As you breathe in, do you feel a holding of the breath? Do you feel any tension as you breathe? Maybe any discomfort? So just being aware of how that breath is coming and going. And if you do feel any holding or discomfort or tension, just to be a little more conscious of breathing in some ease with every breath you take in and every breath that you let go. Notice the depth of the breath. Is it shallow? Is it up in the chest, or is it deeper down in the low belly? Notice what that feels like. And if it is shallow, notice your ability to change that and press that breath down, moving it down into the lower body, down into the diaphragm, allowing that breath to come and go from that place of expansion and ease. And then noticing this breathing without judgment, just allowing it to be just as it is. And so when we notice without judgment, we know that we can let things go that don't serve us. And we can also be a little kinder and a little more compassionate with ourselves when we do. We let go of expectations. We let go of shoulds and have-tos. And just with that flow of letting go, we open up the gateway of more and more possibility within us. And so continue to breathe in this witnessing and observing manner. Just appreciating things for exactly as they are in this moment. And as you breathe in this way, I will read our affirmations for tonight's practice, our statements of positivity. When I look back, I realize how successful I have been in figuring out my most challenging times. I'm doing a better job than I think. I appreciate myself for all the ways I've exercised my strength and resilience. I appreciate myself for all the ways I've exercised my strength and resilience. And just continue the breath, breathing in, breathing out. And then bring your awareness to this new year ahead of you. And just maybe thinking of something you would like to invite into your new year. Something you want to bring in. Just the first thing that comes to your mind. Can be very simple. Most of the times it is just very simple. And let that be a small mini goal for today and going into this week. Just a little something you'd like to invite in. It could be as simple as a deeper breath. That is all. Good. And now I invite you to very gently open the eyes, coming back to your awareness. And we will begin a little mindful movement for tonight's practice. We will begin this new year with the 6 directions of the spine. We've talked about this before, how healthy and necessary it is to move the spine in all 6 directions. We're going to explore this in 3 different ways: seated, standing, and then on hands and knees. And when we do this, key into that witnessing and observing mind once again. And as we flow through each set of exercises, one to the other, you make the decision and the choice as to which you like the best. Do you like the standing version, the seated version, or the table version on hands and knees? And then decide that on what feels best in your body, in your own body. Okay? So we'll start with seated. So find a real comfortable place in your chair, maybe get realigned a little bit. And then we're going to place the hands, palms facing down on the thighs, and come into our seated flexion and extension of the spine. So that is the cat-cow. We're going to inhale in, looking up at the sky, bringing those hands forward towards the knees, arching the back, inviting in a nice deep breath. And then exhale, rounding the spine. The hands move back toward the body. We're going to tuck that chin toward the chest as we expel the breath. Once again, inhaling in, lifting the heart and the gaze, arching the back. Exhale, rounding the spine, tucking the chin. So I invite you to find this flexion and extension on your own. In this cat-cow, waking up the body, waking up the spine. And we know that when we do, we engage each vertebrae as we move. We know that we are lubricating all those little facets and joints. And that's how we stay healthy and supple and young. Good. And I invite you to come to stillness. Let's begin the side bend. So we're bending to the left side and to the right side, maybe bringing one hand to the chair so you have a nice firm grasp on the chair. And it doesn't matter which side you start with. Bring one arm up in the air. Inhale and lift through the crown of the head as you bend to the side. So these are the lateral movements of the spine. Inhaling back to center, placing the opposite hand on the chair, lifting up the other arm, inhaling, and then exhaling, bending to the other side. So again, I invite you to find natural rhythm here, lengthening out the vertebrae as you move from side to side. And this should be a nice, comfortable stretch. If you've been sitting all day, this might be a good thing to do just to awaken some of those areas of the body that might have become stiff throughout the day. Good. Remember to pair the breath with the movement. Good, and then coming to stillness once again. We're going to take that right hand, place it on the left knee, and then take a big inhale here. As we do, we raise the left arm up overhead, and then we twist to the left, looking over the left shoulder, maybe bringing that left hand to the back of the chair. Breathing here. This is the torsion or the twisting of the spine. Just breathing into that stretch. Good, and then inhaling, coming back to center, taking that left hand to the right knee, bringing the right arm up overhead, inhaling here, and then exhale, twisting to the right side, letting the breath go, and just allowing that spine to do what it was created to do. Movement, flexibility, and support. Good, and then coming back to center, we're going to stand, so I'm going to move my chair out of the way. Good, and then coming to a nice mountain pose here, rooting those feet nice and deep into the earth. Shoulders are back, heart is open. Just a little lift to the crown of the head. Make sure those ears are aligned over the shoulders. Good. Then we're going to bring the feet out a little wider. So we're going to place the heels turning in and the toes pointing out, and then we're going to come down into a little high squat here. So just a nice little goddess squat. Okay. And you can allow the hands to slide up and down the thighs if you wish, as if we were seated. We're going to bring those hands to the thighs, arching the back, lifting the gaze, looking up, inhaling here, and then exhale, rounding the spine, tucking the chin, and just a little standing cat-cow here. Just allowing the spine to move as we do with flexion and extension. Good. Inhaling as we look up and exhaling as we look down. Good, and then coming back to standing here. Okay, take the shoulders, roll them up to the ears one more time. And then we're going to take our hands and interlace the fingers, leaving the index fingers pointing up towards the sky, bringing arms up overhead. Take a big inhale here, and then exhale, bowing to the left side. So we're just going to take a nice little kind of a crescent moon pose here. Inhale back to center. Exhale, moving to the right. Just take this a couple times on your own. This is our lateral movement of the spine. Really reaching towards the sky with those fingers, lengthening out the whole body. And as you bend to the side, just feeling yourself lift right up out of the rib cage. Good, and then come to standing once again. Good. And then we're going to do our twisting, our torsion, moving that spine from side to side. So again, rooting down into the earth with your feet. Inhaling, lifting up, lifting your gaze, lifting the arms. Exhale, twisting to the left, so palms come down towards the earth. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, twisting to the side. And just take this a few times on your own. Torsion of the spine. And just bring your hands to heart center. now we're going to come down on hands and knees. So just find yourself here on hands and knees, tabletop position. So your knees are under the hips and the hands are under the shoulders. Back is straight, gaze is forward. Now you're going to inhale and lift the gaze, lift the heart, looking up, arching the back. Exhale, rounding the spine, tucking the chin, or your cat pose. And I invite you just to do this on your own. This is exactly the movement that we do when we're in the chair. I think when you're on hands and knees, it gives you a little more range of motion. And so as you move the spine in this way, really feel that articulation of every vertebrae from the tailbone all the way up to the neck. Good. And then I invite you to come into a comfortable seated position. Just crossing the legs one over the other. Good. Nice tall spine, sitting up nice and straight and tall. Let's bring that left hand to the floor beside you, raising the right arm up overhead. Take a big inhale here, and then exhale, bending that left elbow and bending to the left side. So raising that right arm up overhead, breathing into that whole right side body. You should feel a nice stretch there. And then inhale back to center, taking the right fingers, walking them out beside you. Inhaling, the left arm comes up, and exhaling, bending to the left. So you can go ahead and take these on your own, just some lateral bends to the side. Reaching, lifting, and lengthening. And then exhale and bending. Good, and then coming back now to your neutral seat, coming back to center. We'll take that left hand and place it, right hand, place it on the left knee. And then we're going to inhale that left arm up overhead, twisting to the left, bringing that hand to rest behind you, lifting through the spine, breathing here. And then coming back to center, we'll do that seated twist on the other side, taking left hand to the right knee, inhaling right arm up, exhaling, bringing that right hand to rest behind you, and peeking out over the right shoulder. And then coming back to center, let's do that 2 more times on each side at your own pace. Beautiful, everyone. We will now get ready for our final rest in our session tonight, our Shavasana. So I invite you to find your comforts for tonight's practice. Maybe you would like to bring your pillow and your blankets around, perhaps lower your lights in your space, make it nice and cozy. Perhaps you've got that candle burning. Whatever you need to do to set up for deep rest. So I'll allow you a few minutes to get that all together, okay? Good. Beautiful, everybody. So wherever you are, whether you are seated or lying down, I invite you to close the eyes and once again connect with your breath. If you're lying on your back, maybe taking a moment to snuggle the shoulder blades underneath you so that you're nice and grounded on the earth there. And then begin to breathe in and out of the nose, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, just allowing that breath to come and go. And just begin to invite a sense of relaxation and ease. And from this place, this relaxed place, we're going to witness the highlights on the path of your life, a journey through your own personal timeline, moments that helped to define you, the positive and negative events in your life. So looking back to the very beginning, take a moment to recall your earliest memories. What early events do you remember? What events are significant to you? And just recall this as you settle in. Don't think too hard about it, just the first thing that comes to mind. Who were the people that supported and surrounded you at this time? And just begin to deepen your breath as you breathe into these memories that occurred so long ago. Going back, revisiting, of pulling them out of your personal timeline. And as you recall these things from your early life, how does it make you feel? What comes up? Just breathe into that experience. As you continue on down the timeline of your life, what other events do you remember? Recalling now any memories that come up as you began to grow, from childhood to adolescence to young adulthood and up to the present day. What were some positive events that you remember? Who was there with you? How does recalling these events make you feel? And just take a moment to celebrate these positive events, giving yourself an imaginary hug or an affirmative word or two. Celebrate the positive in your past. Now, calling to mind some of the negative events of your life, the ones that were like bumps in the road, the ones that may have been stops or detours along the way, the ones that might be a little hard to think about. Perhaps they challenged you. Perhaps it was difficult, but just remember that you emerged, in spite of it all, stronger, wiser, focused. Like a tree, you stood tall. Recall these moments now. Who were the people that supported you and encouraged you during this time? How does recalling these times make you feel? Give yourself a hand for walking through the difficult times and coming out the other side. Finding grace, clarity, and notable growth along the way. And now recall any events that shaped your values and beliefs. Bring these to mind now, the things that occurred that have made you who you are today. You might remember who was there, remember how you felt then and now. And just notice what comes up. Take a moment to reflect on the values and beliefs that you stand on, the ones that make up your foundation. Now look back on the events that shaped your decisions over the years. What are the ones that stand out? Who were the people that surrounded you then? And what does it feel like to recall these times? And finally, bring to mind any choice points or happenstance circumstances that occurred during your personal timeline that may have surprised you. Things you didn't plan on over the years, but just popped up. Little gems, little victories, maybe even little sorrows. All the things that made up your life. Who was there with you? What strengths did you gain from these out of the blue occurrences? And just think about those now. And as you recall your unique journey, sometimes it is necessary to look back. Sometimes we need to look back in order to move forward. And we know that it is always necessary to rest. So now, rest your mind, your body, and your spirit. Rest fully and completely. Letting go of expectations. Inviting in possibility. Allow yourself to rest. Simply rest. And just be.
Okay, we make sure your volume's up. Wait, it's not.
Taking your time and very gently and slowly begin to bring your awareness back, inviting in a little movement, wiggling fingers and toes, maybe rocking your head from side to side or gathering your knees into your chest, or just taking a full body stretch in your space there, from your toes all the way to the crown of the head. Whatever it is that you're needing in order to come back to the present moment. And when you're ready, I invite you to roll to one side and stay right there as I read a little closing meditation for tonight's practice. This is from Isabella Poretsis. She says, "At times you can lose yourself in your journey to find out who you are. And that's okay because a journey is not a set road. It was built to be unpredictable. The person you were will not always be who you end up as. Nevertheless, it does not mean that who you were at the beginning, or all of who you were in the middle, or who you are at the end is any less valuable than each other. Good things to keep in mind. And so when you're ready, just press yourself back up to a seated position and we will meet. Good. I hope everybody got a little bit of rest to start off the new year. Let's inhale, raising arms and gaze up to the sky, and exhale, bringing hands to the heart. Take a look down at your fingertips, feeling your thumbs pressing against your sternum, and feel your unique heartbeat. Just take a moment to witness what that feels like. Good. And as always, the light in me honors and recognizes the light that resides in each and every one of you. And we share that acknowledgement when we say together, Namaste.